February 14th, 2019. Trigger warning, if you're anybody that actually needs counseling, I'm not a counselor. And it could trigger you at any moment. Some fellow walker on the mental health path. Or mental whatever at any given moment. So right now, we're doing dialectical behavior therapy, emotion regulation, handout 10, opposite action. Opposite action is acting opposite to your emotional urge. Use opposite action when knowing the facts does not change your emotions. The emotion or the intensity or the duration of the emotion does not fit the facts of the situation. The emotion or the intensity or the duration of the emotion is not effective for the situation, and it's done all the way. And frankly, I think that for emotions, and I don't know, this is cognitive, the cognitive aspects of it, but a lot of emotions balance out when you just like are not when you eat well, or eat a lot of vegetables and fruits and like whole foods, and also the other part of it is just like getting a little exercise. All that stuff really just helps balance your emotions so that they're not so jaggedy in the first place. Hi, mindful. Eye boogers. Eye boogers. Wait, let me get a tissue. Excuse me. Yeah, you're cool. I'm gonna wipe your face a little bit. Come here. Yes, Mindful's cute pup. Come here. I think he just wants to be on camera. Now he's been on 2 videos. Oh, you can't even really see him. Looks like I'm wiping an imaginary dog's face. There's more puppet. Yeah, you're a pretty cool dog. You're a pretty cool dog. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So, opposite action step by step. It is good though. Opposite action is super good though, because nobody can really ever, well, maybe perfect people, but I certainly think it's awesome, like when you have opposite to the emotion action, when you're having the urge to not do something that you have to do. Then actually using cognitive behavior skills is really super good, because then you can just like kind of make yourself do stuff. Not all the time. Sometimes. So, the step-by-step, which I don't think I really have read, but let's read it. Identify the emotion you want to change and check to see if your emotion fits the facts. If your emotion does not fit the facts, or if acting on your emotion is not an effective response, go to step 2. See, this is where I got all confused, because I'm like, what is... So then identify your action urges and then go to step 3. Act opposite all the way to your action urges. Repeat acting opposite to your action urges until your emotional sensitivity to that prompting event goes down and your tendency to feel or act on the emotion goes down. Well, I can get into the repetitive behavior aspect until you've got it figured out, but I don't know all the stuff in between it. But sometimes doing the repetitive behavior until you figure stuff out works, but like all that stuff in between, it's just like, I don't know, it's like, I don't get it. But it works. It works itself out. Alright, figuring out, that's not very helpful. Let me just try and get it. I don't really feel like getting things today. I'm not doing a very good job. Well, I mean, I would say repeat acting opposite to your action urges until your emotional sensitivity to that prompting event goes down and your tendency to feel or act on the emotion goes down. So I would just take exercising as an example. So you need to exercise, and then your urge is not to exercise. So then the opposite, acting opposite to that urge, would be to just get up and exercise. And so if you repeat that process of just acting opposite to that urge, so your urge is not to exercise, then you just get up and exercise. Then you just keep on doing it until it becomes habit. Then you're not sensitive to it because you just know that you're going to get up and do it anyways. So there's no point in just like having that emotion. Or maybe like you don't like um, I guess in my case it would be brushing my dog's teeth. He would like it if I brushed his teeth every single day. Like if I... That's a pretty hard urge to act opposite of, and I kind of suck at it, but yep, put it on my list. Okay. Fear. Fear fits the facts of a situation whenever there is a threat to your life or that of someone you care about, or your health or that of someone you care about, or a threat to your well-being or that of someone you care about. When fear or its intensity or duration does not fit the facts, opposite actions for fear. Some opposite actions for fear are do what you're afraid of doing over and over and over. Approach events, places, tasks, activities, and people you're afraid of. Do things to give yourself a sense of control and mastery over your fears. And do the opposite of other fearful action urges. So all the way opposite actions for fear are keep your eyes and ears open and focused on the feared event, look around slowly and explore. Taking the information from the situation, like notice that you are safe or that you're not safe. Change your posture and keep a confident voice tone. Keep your head and eyes up, shoulders back but relaxed, assertive body posture. Well, because having that kind of body posture, it does like a biological response. Do paced breathing. Breathe deeply all the way into your diaphragm. And slowly, that's it. Apparently there's another page to that, but mine just goes now to anger. So there you have it. Alright, figuring out the opposite actions for anger. Anger fits the facts of a situation whenever an important goal is blocked or a desired activity is interrupted or prevented. You don't have to feel angry, but at least if you do feel angry, there's a reason for it. Like, or if you or someone you care about is attacked or hurt by others, or if you or someone you care about is insulted or threatened by others. That's the same. It goes for fear, for anger, for love, for all of them. You just start, it's not saying you have to feel the emotion if the facts fit. It says that if you feel the emotion, then at least if the facts fit, that's good news. And sometimes they don't. So when anger or its intensity does not fit the facts, then some of the stuff that you can do is opposite actions for anger. One, you gently avoid the person you're angry with rather than attacking them. Two, take a time out and breathe in and out deeply and slowly. Three, do something a little bit nice rather than mean or insulting. Four, do the opposite of other angry action urges. See emotion regulation handout, opposite action. And then all the way opposite actions for anger are 5, imagine understanding and empathy for the other person. Step into the other person's shoes and try to see the situation from the other person's point of view. Imagine really good reasons for what has happened. Change your posture. Do hands unclenched, palms up, fingers relaxed like willing hands. Relax your chest and stomach muscles, unclench your teeth, relax face muscles, and do the half smile. Mona Lisa half smile. Change body chemistry. Breathe deeply and slowly, counting your breaths if needed. Run or engage in other energetic, non-violent activity. Because that literally changes the chemical outputs in your brain. That's what I was talking about exercise, doing stuff. Nutrition does too. It changes the chemical outputs in your brain. And like how your muscle tissues are cleaning up waste products and stuff like that. Alright. Figuring out opposite actions for disgust. So disgust might fit the facts of a situation if something you're in contact with could poison or contaminate you, or somebody whom you deeply dislike is touching you or someone you care about, or if you're around a person or group whose behavior or thinking could seriously damage or harmfully influence you or the group you are a part of. Okay. I'm not a group person, obviously, even when I'm not being shunned. Alright. When disgust or its intensity does not fit the facts. Opposite actions for disgust. You can move closer. You can eat, drink, stand near, or embrace what you found disgusting. You can be kind to those that you feel contempt for. Step into the other person's shoes. You can do the opposite of other disgusted action urges. All the way opposite actions for disgust. Imagine understanding and empathy for the person you feel disgust or contempt for. Try to see the situation from the other person's point of view. Imagine really good reasons for how the other person is behaving or looking. Take in what feels repulsive. I'm just not even going to read that. Adjust your posture and lower your voice tone. Hands unclenched, palms up, fingers relaxed, willing hands. Relax chest and stomach muscles. Relax face muscles. And distract from irrelevant, disgusting thoughts and images. Alright. Figuring out opposite actions for envy. Envy fits the facts of a situation whenever another person or group gets or has things you don't have that you want or need. When envy or its intensity does not fit the facts, opposite actions for envy are 1. Inhibit destroying what the other person has. Yeah. Do the opposite of envious action urges. Count your blessings. Make a list of the things you are thankful for. Do the opposite of other envious action urges. All the way opposite actions for envy. Count all your blessings. Avoid discounting some of your blessings. Avoid exaggerating your deprivations. Stop exaggerating others' net worth or value. Check the facts. Imagine how it makes sense that the other person has what you do not. Change your posture. Hands unclenched, palms up, fingers relaxed. Relax chest and stomach muscles. Unclench teeth. Relax face muscles, and then half smile. It's a bitch. It's especially a bitch because, of course, there's all those freaks out there that are, like, intentionally creating envy situations. I'm watching, like, bath salts are an example. So, like, these bath salts were just within the last year in 5-pound bags. And then they're in 4-pound bags. And just now they came and a week later, 2 weeks later, and they're in 3-pound bags. So that's like how much? That's a 25% reduction for the same cost of the same product in like a month, maybe 2 months, and on top of a 20% reduction, just a little bit more. And then you've got the Senator Cantrell talking about, oh, we want to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2025. And it's like, okay, so in 6 years, you'll be able to get like 1 teaspoon of bath salts, and then they'll raise the minimum wage to $5 less than what it would take right now to have a basic living. Because apparently the basic cost of living you need to make for just the basic necessities of like cell phone and car, insurance, rent, you need to make $22 an hour. So even $15 an hour, I mean, and they're talking about comfortably in the way that they used to, like, when I was in school, the way that they taught us to do budgeting. It was like, never spend more than 25% of your income on your rent. Oh, really? I mean, yeah. And I'm watching it, and I know who watches my stuff, and so I just watch them watch me and then screw with my stuff. Watch them watch me and then screw with my stuff. And so it's like a constant thing. So the bath salts is like, whatever. I'll go back to doing my own thing. Puke heads, and you'll be left with really super expensive bath salts. But that's how they're playing the game. So you've got Cantrell being all like, oh, she knows exactly how it works. Within 6 years, they'll have people so ground down into the dirt, then they'll raise it by 15. It's terrible. It's evil. It's really genuinely evil. Currently, I was watching the Democratic women up there being threatening to Medicare for people over 50, and I'm sure, yeah, it's just evil. There's some people out there that it's pretty bad. Oh yeah, I was gonna find that big thing about trans-ocean crime. I think that's on like the FBI website, and then there's like, oh, something adapted from something. About group stalking, and it's pretty weird world. But here we are pretending like it's a normal situation, and like just going over some old paradigm stuff, a lot of which just really, yeah, I just can't do this right now. Not into it. As I'm reading through the envy and the jealousy and stuff, I'm thinking of watching fit the facts, what I've seen and what I've experienced when I found that gang stalking thing, which I did try and give to the counselor. Here comes all those people. Um, and I lost my train of thought. That pisses me off. Thanks. Anyway, that gang stalking thing was pretty interesting. Oh, the Dems and the high level of the stalking. I don't know. I think it's pretty crazy. Oh, I was reading the jealousy and the envy and stuff. So that just made me think about how, and then I was validating that I really had been gang stalked and that my dog really had been gang stalked. And so, like, watching them do the same thing that they do to kids in public schools to create school shooters and primed people and stuff like that. And then watching it being done to my dog is just horrifying. And so then you're reading like jealousy and envy and oh, here's how to act like a normal person. And it is the way that you're, but you can't do it exactly the way that they tell you because it just sets you up to be a victim. It forces people to ignore the really significantly sized organized crime element that's preying on society. And so in that sense, as I was taking the group, and I my last time in the group I left because I've been unsafe there so many times, and I'd been going over and I gave the woman, the teacher, the organized gang stalking thing, and I was like, well, did you read that? And you know, yeah, I think I've been over this before. It's not even an issue, but so I left in the middle of the group because frankly, yeah, it was kind of a setup, and the material, the way it's presented, is unfortunately kind of a setup. But that is what you agree to in civilized societies. You have to operate within these parameters, which is why I just think that we should just like go for it. Let's have a little fascism. Let's blend business and the military because there's just so much stuff going on in business that there needs to be some more serious consequences than people getting fired. And so if it's military people that are also running the businesses, then I would, and everybody should be in the military. That's one thing that Israel does, I think, really well, is my understanding is that everybody volunteers or gets drafted or something like that for service. I'm too old for it, but that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm, um, yeah. People just need some better discipline and get a grip on their emotions. And this stuff is useless without an ethical basis. And if all people can understand is, I'm not saying yay or nay on the Bible. I'm saying that the Bible and probably all the other ones are designed for the various psychologies. And so, yeah, whichever, but I've not ever been one of the people that's been a big argument with me and with environmental people is they just want to nix religion and or go with religions that are just like so fluffy there's like no consequences in them. I can't believe in any religious stuff that doesn't like have some consequences, and my authoritarian nature. Man, I'm at 24 minutes, but I've seen other people ramble on and for hours. So there you have it. They of course have an audience. Luckily, I'm happy talking to myself. Happy enough. Because it's not like the world is any, like, less insane than me. I mean, really. Yep, I'm bananas, but so is the whole rest of the scene. So, yeah, without the, and that's what bugs me about that cinema lady. Is that how you say her name? Kristen, I think her name is. She just got elected in Arizona as a senator. Other people are freaking out, calling her a slut. Of course, oh god, slut, slut, slut. I'm just saying that, you know what? A lot of you guys would be happier if you were nicer too. But, you know, whatever. Harvard or Yale, I guess. That's very funny. That I'm not. It's not funny. It was actually pretty tragic to watch what's happening with those girls. What they're doing amongst themselves as girls. I'm using the frat thing as an issue to do mean girl games, looks like. So Kristen Cinema, people are freaking out about her outfit, but really, I don't know. I've seen the law bent, and if there's no value system behind it, it looks like, looking at the various codes, that you can make the law do whatever you want. So swearing on the law kind of just like gave me this visual of like a really, like, from a vampire story, like one of the really super old evil vampire things, kind of just like swearing on its law book. And I mean, I know that she's probably not like that, but that's just like the flash that I have. Then I'm like, people are like worried about her dress, and I'm just like, okay. I mean, really, yeah, it's just like, okay, yeah, let's fret about the dress. But I was glad. On the flip side, I was really super glad to see a whole bunch of different holy books being used. Yeah. I just was disturbed about just um, the law without an ethical, moral framework around it. Because without that, some kind of religious framework, and I'm not saying right or wrong, but when you look at, and that's why I agree with the getting the Bible education too, and but why I want for all of it, so that we can look at the framework that the person operates in, and then you modify, or you understand what you're interacting with, and the other person understands what they're interacting with, and it just would make it so much easier. And it's like one of those video games, I would guess. It's the way that algorithms work. You just know that some interactions are going to go with one way, and some are going to go another way, and some aren't going to go at all if people have some particular bias. But with no framework to control that whole wide insanity of the law, I mean, pretty complex scene. I I did do chair massage at a law school once, and I had those law students telling me stuff like they had to get it was graduation, and they'd been in law school for the full however many years it takes. But some of them were like, several were like, I actually had to get glasses from reading all these law books, and having been bounced around here so much that I've had to look at the RC, and I think it's good. I mean, I think that in a going forward type situation, I would like to see families, and I try to tell this to my whatever, nobody listens to me. Anyway, I think that a good idea for families is if they not only just have dinner, like have a society that values a structured family time. Our society has just been broken down. It doesn't matter if we have a 24-hour family or a 24-hour society, but leave some people on graveyard and let there be graveyard schools for their kids and graveyard daycare for their kids. And you know, I mean, let there be shifts. You know, keep the parks open with park attendants and plenty of light so that the graveyard people can go to the park in the middle of the night. Because when you're working graveyard shift, that's what you want. And there's too many people to have everybody be on day shift. And we would be annoyed because we're frankly used to a 24-hour society. But create, you know, so that people can have families and family rhythms, because it's important. And then when people have kids, part of studying, they should study, you know, religion at the dinner table. You have dinner maybe, and then study after dinner a little bit together as a family, and then go do whatever your deal is. And part of that study should be spiritual, and part of that study should be the RCWs so that people can operate within the law. Part of that study should be like how to do your flipping taxes, which I'm having the usual anxiety about, but I guess that there's a place that I can get some help with it. Besides an accountant, which I had an accountant that I trusted, but then of course they're in Idaho. And anyway, it was years ago. So that's my ramble, and it's counting as my second DBT because I did read a bunch of that emotional regulation before I got off track. Oh, the other thing about reading the jealousy and the envy one is it makes me think of it was a news item back in maybe 1999, I guess. And I don't know if it was true because I think I just heard of it word of mouth. But like these people had a chimpanzee, and yeah, I've just seen it. It's like too much imbalance. You're asking people, in essence, to just be zen about being part of the way dead. I mean, really, that's what people are being asked to do at the level of insecurity that there is in the bottom of society. And so I definitely, and without certain level of support and basic stability for the bottom level of society, for one thing, the top level will eventually fall down. But for the other thing, I mean, why have all that misery, for one thing? And for another thing, people do better when they have some support. I know they did some weird thing over in EU where they gave them a basic income, but they didn't give them a basic income to actually do anything. I mean, I'm a child of the system, and I can tell you point blank that without the support beyond the system, then it's just pointless. And then I start advocating for the, you know, death boxes, because frankly, that's the only thing that's eventually going to do it, is turn the trick, is people are going to become ashamed, and they're going to be scared because their loved ones are just going to be like and offing themselves. But in the meantime, you can learn cognitive behavior skills to avoid engaging in psychotic chimpanzee behavior when the normal situations of manipulated life, because really what it comes down to is someday the higher up people are going to quit having that need to destroy life on the bottom, because the misery on the bottom is as much of a hoax as man-made climate change. It's the, yeah, it's just another weaponized bullshit seen on people, because I've seen that climate change is actually just large scale, some kind of climate warfare going on, because I've seen manipulations to the hormones of the plant, and even just growing crops. They told us that they spray like all different kinds of things, seed setter hormones, this, that, the other thing, all these things that jerk plants biology around. You think it's not jerking the animals and people's biology around? And same thing with the weather patterns. I watched those even when we lived in Oregon. I'm like, man, I don't recall Oregon having an evening monsoon pattern. It used to just kind of rain all day. But yeah, there was this weird evening monsoon pattern where you could almost, it was like being in the tropics, where you could like check the time by the rainfall time. And then, and so yeah, I mean, obviously climate change is a complete, it's a hoax, but it's like a weaponized hoax. And then the same with the complete and abject poverty. And I think that the bottom level people, we should just be allowed to live. And part of being rich is having the responsibilities, and that's why rich people are supposed to get their streets named after them. But at this point, it's like the Roman Empire, where people just like do the most obscenely vicious things for, I mean, really what it comes down to is some kind of whacked out sexual gratification, like Caligula. Oh, sick, freaked out, but that's what's going on apparently. Yeah. So I guess